It's your boy, Justin Strickland, the hostess with the mostest. And I'm not alone. Gracing the pod with me. You know, this is only my second guest. I haven't had a whole bunch of guests on. If you would have heard this intro, you would have seen why. They be trying to take over my podcast. But it's okay. We're going to rock it today. We're going to have a great time. I'm so excited for you to be here. I'm honored that you are giving some of your day up to us over here at the ladder. And I'm going to have my partner in crime today introduce himself. So, hey, tell Crew Excellence who you is.
Okay, man.
You know what I'm saying?
My name is Dominic D. Hampton. The D is important. That's my middle name, and I love it.
Is.
AKA Damo. I am Jay Smooth's co-worker, friend. That's my brother from another mother. My young mentor. I've had a lot of mentors in my life. A lot of them are older, but this is the younger one, and so I appreciate him and everything that I do.
I appreciate being the young mentor.
The young mentor. Because the other mentors, they be talking about retirement and grandkids, and it's like, I just left college 2 years ago. Like, we're not on the same levels. So somebody who I can relate with. And so, yeah, man, it's an honor to be here, honor to be your second guest, and I'm excited to dig into some leadership things today.
Yeah, man. And so this is a leadership podcast. If you're new, we talk about leadership, and we talk about all the different facets and different perspectives and the way that we can view leadership. And this my guy. We be in the trenches together. We be having these conversations all the time, and I wanted to bring one of the conversations we've had onto the pod because I thought it was a fire conversation. We don't necessarily agree on it, but I think that's healthy for the podcast, for you all, for the audience, and for banter. I think it's just a beautiful thing to have. And so one thing that we talked about before, and you remember, we talked about leadership versus management.
On the bus.
We was talking about on the bus. Yeah, we was on the bus. We was on a field trip,
yes,
and we was having this discussion. And y'all know where I'm about. I'm all about leadership, right? But he had some really good, interesting points about management that I thought was really dope. So before we jump into that, I want to give your credentials. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Drop a little credentials on the people.
Okay.
Because there's some people that are like, who that dude? Why should I listen to him? And so drop some credentials because I know what you about to say is dope and I don't want them to miss it.
Okay, yeah, so some credentials.
Yeah, man.
I guess we'll start with
what qualifies you to talk about?
The academic credentials.
There we
I
go.
I got a bachelor's in digital media, so
Okay.
it's not really related. But then I do have a MBA, a Master's of Business Administration in Management and Organizational Leadership.
There we go.
Now, outside of that, I also have some real-life experience.
You be working.
In leadership.
Yeah.
From the time I was a kid through college to right now. In college, I would say is when I developed the most as a leader. I was the president of various different organizations, from the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, from being on executive boards of MPHC, and I also started and founded a ministry on the campus of University of Central Missouri.
Fire.
And so I've just had a lot of different experiences in leadership and organizing events, community events. I led a Black Lives Matter march on campus, and that was crazy.
Hey, the pictures from that joint, fire.
Crazy.
The pictures from that joint is fire.
I'm talking about, we have the Warrensburg Police Department down there on ATVs, blocking off the intersections, and it was wild. Mm-hmm. And so just a lot of different experiences, even from coaching, even to the work we do now with our job. Yeah. So, a little bit about me.
Dope, man. So, like I said, I already thought he was dope, but now y'all know he dope, all right? So we're going to jump into this. I got a few questions, and y'all know we be letting the pod flow, so we'll see where it goes. But my first question is, you have all this experience. When did you first realize, hey, I'm a leader?
Ooh.
Or did someone tell you, or you realized it first? Like, tell me about that.
My pops always told my brothers and I, growing up, he said, I'm not raising followers. I'm raising y'all to be leaders.
Okay.
And, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Everybody want to raise somebody to be a leader.
Yeah, all parents think they are.
But something I noticed all throughout my childhood, my teenage years, through college, I always found myself in positions of leadership. Yeah. Not because I wanted to be the big dog on top or anything of that nature, but I noticed that people naturally listened to what I said. They followed my actions. They followed my lead. And I would say it was probably in the latter half of my teenage years. I was in Boy Scouts, an Eagle Scout, graduated high school and all of those things. I was team captain of every sport that I participated in. I was NHS and all these things. Yeah. And not only were my peers, the students listening to me, valuing what I said, but also teachers and administrators and things of that nature. And I think through those experiences, I realized, like, okay, I still didn't see myself as a leader, but I thought people see leadership qualities and traits in me.
Gotcha. So it was like almost, it sounded like your whole life. It was like everybody said, you're a leader. And he was like, hey,
chill out. That's a lot of
pressure. That's a lot of pressure. And it is. Well, like Spider-Man said, much power comes much responsibility, right? And so that's interesting because, like, for me, I think early on, so part of it is the way my family is structured. And so growing up, we all were together all the time. So my cousins I grew up with, we went to my grandma's house. We all was over there kicking it every day. Yeah. And so probably about 5, 6, I was like, I'm the leader of the cousins. Like it was
5, 6 years old?
Yeah, like 5, 6 years old. I'm the leader of the cousins. And we'll fight about it if anybody wants to take my spot. You know what I mean? And for a little bit, my cousin Micah, she could whoop me. But then she stopped growing, so it was over for her. You know what I mean? And so I settled my claim as leader of the cousins. And by about 10, it was undisputed. Yeah. You know? And so I think that was like my first kind of quest as a leader, was to establish myself as leader of my family. But I think kind of like you, it was just natural. Like it was at school or on the team. Or I remember playing at the YMCA and being the captain, and so like it was more so. And for me, I think a lot of it was talent driven. Like I've just been blessed. I'm especially athletically very talented, and so I was the leader by proxy. Like I was the closest person to being good, and so I was the leader. And so that kind of just followed me throughout life. And I think because I had those early experiences with leadership, that I developed a mindset of, well, I am a leader. And so even in my friend groups, I remember in high school and college, I was friends with other leaders. And so we all kind of did our own thing. Like sometimes I'll be kicking it with them. Sometimes they'll come do what but it was never like, I don't think I ever looked to other people to set the precedent kind of for what I was doing. Yeah. And then so that's kind of been kind of, so like I said, probably like I said, 5 or 6, I'm like, hey, I'm a leader. It is what it is. And I'll take that on. And I'm an older sibling too. And so like having a little sister, it's like, it's like, come here, man. I raised my little sister till I went to college, you know? And then my mama took over and she ruined everything I did. Everything I tore it down. In like 2 months. I was so impressed. Like, bruh, what? So that's why you let me have my little fun. You knew you could tear it down like that. Yeah. And so I think that played a role in it as well. My next question is what is the difference to you between leadership and management? Because I think for a lot of people, they like, I don't understand the difference. Talk to me when you hear those two words, what do you think the difference in the two are?
For me, management is a science.
Okay.
Leadership is an art.
I like that. We're going to clip that. You're going to see that. That's clip. That's clip. You're going to see that. That's dope.
So I like to think of a Venn diagram.
Okay.
Right? You got management here, leadership here, and then you got the overlapping part. And ideally, that's where a lot of us want to be.
That's what
overlap.
Yeah.
I think naturally people tend to gravitate to want to be a leader more. Okay. Just because there's a lot more positive
wording around it.
Yes, compared to management.
Got you.
But for example, a manager, I think of somebody who is, their goal is to make an organization or a structure, an entity, institution more efficient. Okay. Their goal is to help it run at the most optimal pace that it can so it can produce output right, with as little waste as possible.
Gotcha.
So waste being like employee turnover,
money,
wasting resources, time, damaging products, those type of things.
Yeah.
Leadership, I see it as an art in the sense of it's something that you have to craft.
Yeah.
It requires interpersonal skills, empathy. The goal is to build up the people around you, whereas management, your goal is to produce output.
Yeah.
And so I like to think of it. So for an example, in management, managers tend to think of things in terms of systems.
Yeah.
Life, everything that's a world is a system.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about society, civilization, government, the human body itself. It's all a system.
Yeah.
Right? And the system consists of a lot of different moving parts. And so the manager's goal is to take all of these different subsystems, bring them together so the overall system can produce output.
Be healthy.
Whereas the leader, ideally, yes, you want them to be good managers, but they aren't necessarily focused on overall systems.
Yeah.
But they are focused on the individual parts within those systems.
Gotcha.
So that could be the people.
Yeah.
And so their goal is to help build up, empower, train, inspire, lead, vision cast those people within those systems and help them be better so the overall organization can be better as well.
Got you. So, no, I like that. And so, like I asked the first question about when you realized, when was the first thing you managed? Like, what was the first time you was like, I'm really in charge of this? And what was it? And talk me through that process.
In terms of my own, I brought it out, or somebody gave me something to manage?
You pick, man. I'm not picky.
So I'll do the first big thing that I managed that it was kind of my own doing. I would say my Eagle Scout project. Yes, sir. Shout out to the Boy Scouts, all the Eagle Scouts in the building. But I
don't know if I have a single Eagle Scout that listens to this. If you're an Eagle Scout, drop a comment because I'm gonna be shocked because that ain't my world at all. So if there's any Eagle Scouts out there listening to the pod, drop a comment right now because I want to know who you are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And ain't too many Eagle Scouts of our skin color out there. You know,
that's why I didn't know if they was here with us, brother. That's why I ain't know. So I want to know if you here with us.
Yeah. So you know, Boy Scouts is basically a youth leadership development program.
Yeah.
You know, started over in Britain, and it was to train the boys so they could be military men.
Yeah.
Right. And so throughout Boy Scouts, we earned a lot of different merit badges from camping, hiking, first aid, all those different things. Yeah. And so you move up through the ranks, and then your final project is your Eagle Scout project. And so this is a community service-based project that you design and do from the very beginning to the end.
Okay.
Right? You have some adult guidance along the way. Cause you know,
how old are you when you're doing this Eagle Scout?
I was, I believe, 16.
Okay.
So I was 16 years old.
Got you.
And so my project was to go to up in Swope Park. They have a nature center, and to kind of renovate the bird watching area.
Okay.
And so building park benches, re-graveling the area, tearing up and carrying away the weeds and overgrown shrub and all of those things. Repainting. And so from that process, I had to call up the gravel companies. I called up Lowe's. I had to write a letter, meet with managers, and be like, hey, here's the project. This is what I'm doing. It's my Eagle Scout project. Can y'all donate us supplies, some materials?
Help me, please.
Right. And you got to put the cost behind it. And, you know, this is why I rock with Lowe's to this day over Home Depot, because they donated to my project. That process of talking to managers and asking for those supplies, and then getting other Boy Scouts and adult leaders and community volunteers to come out, and we built these benches by hand. We had to find tools and cut them out, and then we had to get the transportation to get the gravel to the site and get the tools, and then break everybody down in different pods and in groups and all of those things. And it was a successful Eagle Scout project. And so I would say, in terms of managing something that was, you know, bigger than like a sports team or something like that, I would say that would be my first thing. And I think through that, it made me realize, if you want to do something, you can do it. You just got to do the small little thing, make phone calls, ask for assistance, whatever. And whatever you want to make happen, you can do that. And so that would be my first management experience.
Got you. And then for you, as you were managing that process, because that's a pretty big process for, you know what I'm saying, for a 16-year-old to manage. Did you feel like leadership was a part of that? Or do you feel like because you were a leader, you thought of the project and then you just turned on management and then you were a manager of the project? Like, talk me through where you feel those two things or intertwined, or if you feel like there was more of one than the other.
I think because I already was a leader at that point in terms of to my peers and things.
Yeah.
I think that led first.
Okay.
And then the management side, so the leadership aspect of it is vision casting to the Lakeside Nature Center, who I was doing a project for. This is what I want to do. Here's the end result. This is how we're going to do that. Asking for volunteers, leading in that sense. But when it came down to actually reaching out to these different companies to get materials, figuring out transportation and logistics, how to get it there, and then breaking people out into groups, that would be the management side of things.
Got you.
And that's where I would say that's the science aspect of
Got
it.
you, yeah.
And so
there's more so, because managers like X's and O's.
Yes, it's the numbers. It's the data, it's the logistics, it's that type of thing.
Got you. Yes. I got you. And so I like the way you describe like the art versus the science. I think for me, that's why I love leadership way more than management. Because I'm an artist. Like I love the ideal of like the tug and pull of leadership when you and working with different people and learning how they tick and like I love that. I love the dance of leadership, right? I'm all for that. The science stuff makes me want to go to sleep. The management stuff, it makes me tired.
It's important,
though. And so I think it is important. I think leadership is more important though. And I'm gonna tell you why. I think there are a lot of places where management exists, and because they don't have leadership, they are stagnant or moving backwards. And processes are efficient. People are being moved from point A to point B. Resources are being moved from A to B. But because there has been a lack of leadership, these places are just stuck. They're stuck in neutral. Whereas I think that for anything to move forward, I think you got to have leadership. And so I think that like if I'm coming into any organization, my first question and my opening kind of dance, I would say it's like, who's the leaders and how are they leading? I think, and I think that's the most important thing to understand. And then I think once you understand that, you can figure everything else out. You can figure out the systems and the things that aren't working or whatever. So I think that helped me get to it. I think leadership is primary, management is secondary, as far as organizational importance and vitality. And so I would love to hear your response to that. What do you think about that? When you heard that, because I just dropped this on them. We ain't talked about this before. Yeah. You heard that in real time. What were your pushback, and what were some if you agreed with any of it? What did you agree with?
So I'm going to put out there, I'm all about leadership as well.
No, he's anti-leadership. Hey, they're going to be like, man, why you bring that dude out here who don't even like leadership? I'm sorry. I didn't know he was like that. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I love leadership. When I chose my graduate studies, it was because I wanted to learn about leadership. Yeah. But the management aspect is MBA, got thrown into the mix. And so I would agree with your statement. I think leadership is important.
Okay.
But if you don't have people that know how to manage, it's really hard to see that vision or whatever your goal is come to fruition.
That's fair.
So you can think of this person is a great leader, but they're a terrible manager.
Yeah.
Or this person is a great manager, but they're a terrible leader. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And so management is important because you need those people to make that vision, that goal, come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, I would say the leader does come first. Okay. Because again, what are you managing if you don't have a common goal? And I think leadership is important too because the managers need to be kept on track.
Yeah.
And so managers can often get so caught up in the process, the systems, the output, efficiency, the eliminating waste, and all these other things, is that they begin to look at people as just objects, as labor. I think it's easy when you're a manager, dehumanize somebody, and leadership comes in and says, "Whoa,
these are people.
These are people with family, with emotions, that deal with health and sickness and financial situations, all these different things." Yeah. And so I would agree that leadership is number one. Yeah. When it comes to actually making things happen, I think that gap does close a little bit. Okay. But again, I think managers also need to be working on the craft of leadership.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Because I think what I've seen, I said this in a few episodes ago, was like, I was talking about middle management and remote work. Yeah. And I was talking about the idea, like, I think because a lot of managers don't have leadership skills, that when we move to remote work, they start sucking. Yeah. Like, they start getting exposed.
They could have exposed
him. Yeah. They didn't have nothing to do. And so they start micromanaging people.
That's when you get companies that have the software. They can track your mouse and your keyboard and watch your screen to make sure you're
like, hey, bro, you ain't typed in 3 minutes.
And nobody wants to work in that environment.
Nobody wants to work in that environment. Yeah. But like you said, I think it's because managers get comfortable managing and don't develop as leaders. Yeah. And so there are some times where you got to redirect people. Like, hey, fam, like, 3 calls today, it's been 8 hours. Like, come on, bro. Like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, that's part of management, right? But you gotta, I think there's a balance to it. Quick question. If I'm an organization and I'm like, hey, we got leadership is average, management is average. I can invest money in one. What should I invest my resources in?
I would say leadership.
Okay.
Leadership in terms of like the leader is the CEO, and then you have like middle management.
Sure.
I would say leadership.
Okay.
Because again, if you don't have a great goal or a vision, it doesn't matter how great your managers are. Yeah. You could have the cream of the crop.
Best managers
ever. Yeah. But if they're all going in different directions, or they're not working towards the same common goal, then they're not going to hit the mark or the objective or whatever you guys are striving towards as an organization. Yeah. And so I think it is important to focus on the leadership. And in that same vein, when you invest in your leadership, I believe the manager should also be pulled into that
they're included in that investment.
Yes.
Okay. I like that. I didn't know what you were going to say because I was no. Well, we agree on that for sure. And one thing I was thinking like in sports terms, and now that you coach.
Yep.
And I was thinking how, like, in the sports world, a lot of times people think of coaches as leaders. Yeah. But really, we're managers. And what I mean by that is we organize practice. We make schedules. Yeah. We organize the game or the match or the event. We recruit, right? We're more so managing talent, cultivating, making sure that talent has a system that will allow it to develop.
Yep.
But the players are the leaders. And I can honestly say I've been on several different teams and organizations athletically where the coaching is excellent. The players suck. and
you
don't win. You don't win. And so, but a lot of times it looks like poor management. Like, I've been in places where I've like, Coach, what do you do at practice? Yeah. Because what I just watched,
it's not helping anybody get better.
And then I go to practice and I'm like, oh, practice is great. It's them. It's not you. It's them. And so I think that can happen a lot. I think with social media, a lot of times we have companies even where CEOs come out and say something crazy, and the people are like, "Hey, bro, I didn't even know Buddy was on that."
Yeah,
like I think it happened with Lululemon. Remember having Lululemon? He came out and was like, "Hey, our clothes ain't for everybody." And then the managers was like, "Hey, run a campaign that show our clothes are for everybody." Yeah. He was like, how dare you?
They're not.
Our clothes ain't for everybody. And these the people it ain't for. And so the managers was trying, but the leadership was like, no, I'm going to say and do terrible things, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And so I agree with you that investing in leadership is way more important than investing in management, because I think if you have excellent leadership, I think you can find excellent management. Like I think people want to follow excellent leaders.
We talked about Dr. King.
Yeah,
Dr. King is a great leader, but he was like.
He was not. He
Dr.
no
King
management.
was not the one calling the meetings and planning all these events and marches.
Heck no. He was showing up. Yeah.
Excellent leader. Yeah. And we can't speak on his management skills.
No, I can. There's so many books about it.
I believe that
he wasn't good. He wasn't good at it. He wasn't good at managing. He wasn't. He overbooked himself a lot. He overworked himself a lot. Like, he was terrible at management. Oftentimes, if you ever read any civil rights books and stuff, they talk about the marches and all the boycotts and all that. All that stuff would be planned way before he got there.
Oh, yeah.
It was months. They had been working on it months, working on the week. And then he would show up and he would be he's the leader. He was the face of the movement. And so because of his vocabulary, because of his presence, he was able to mobilize people in a way that the managers want. Mm-hmm. But the management part was done. Like the March on Selma, they had been doing that for months before Dr. King got there. But then he got there and the whole city was like, oh, we walk with Dr. King. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was kind of that. And so like you said, I think you need both, right? Because if you have excellent leadership but poor management, then nothing gets done well, right? Like everything gets done at a minuscule capacity to what it could be, right? And it's like I think, and this happens in the NBA a lot because the NBA is a players' league, where they have excellent players. We'll say the players are the leaders. And they're like, management sucks. And they fire all the coaches. They fired. It happened with the Bucks this year. Yep. They were the number one team in the NBA. Adrian Griffin, number one team in the NBA. And it was like, management sucks. Got to get them out of here.
Got the new coach.
And we got to get a new coach in here. Because the idea is like, if we have excellent leadership and poor management, we're not going to get to our ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. And so I agree with you, especially on an organizational standpoint. Now, I have a question for you. I think I don't know where you're going to go with this one. On an individual standpoint, so all my Crew Excellence members, they tuned in. They trying to grow as people. Should they focus first on management or on leadership? As they're developing their personal lives, what do you think is more important?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I want to throw that to you.
It's both?
No, you can't say both. No, you can't say both, man. You got to pick one. That's the pod.
Okay. I think the self-leadership is ultimately important.
Got you.
With that, I also think that great self-managing helps you to become a better self-leader. Yeah. So with that, if you don't know how to organize or structure your day, if you're always stressed because you're going to event, or maybe you're not on a routine or a schedule, not saying you got to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, but if you don't have a general consistency, then it'll be hard to develop those self-leadership skills in your daily routine, your life, and emphasize on that because you're in chaos. Yeah. Your life is in chaos. You don't have no structure. Yeah. You don't have no order. And so you can't really take that time to develop yourself internally because you don't have that structure and organization. Yeah. And so ultimately the goal is self-leadership. But I do believe that some self-management techniques or practices have to be instilled so that you can more effectively develop your leadership capabilities. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. You said both, but in a very articulate manner.
Yes, sir.
I caught what you was doing there. No, but I agree. I think that it's a leadership podcast. I make no qualms about what I believe about leadership. I think leadership is the most important aspect of one's life. I don't think you accidentally get anywhere. And so I think if anyone wants to change their life, they have to start by being leaders and choosing where they want to go. Now, once you decide where you want to go, you better start managing how you're going to get there. Because you can run it's so many analogies you can use, but basically, man, you run out of resources. Yeah. If you run out of steam, you run out of energy, you run out of money, whatever, if you don't manage your path to get to your destination. And so I agree with you, even though I didn't want you to say both. I agree with you that it is both. And I always just listen to LaRussell. You know who LaRussell is?
Yes, sir.
That's my guy, man. I be listening to him all the time.
Was he on Sway in the morning?
Yeah, he was on Sway.
Yeah,
man, LaRussell's cold. And so now he's flipped his content. So he was doing a whole bunch of music, and he still raps or whatever. But now he's flipped his content, and I noticed LaRussell. He flipped his content. He's doing a lot more motivational stuff.
Okay.
And so he's walking people through the process because he's a fully independent artist who is making a lot of money. Fully independent, no distro, he's fully independent, and so he's talking people through the process of how he got there. And he said something the other day. We talking about posting content, so we talking about management, right? And he was like, I was posting once a day. He said that only gave me 30 chances a month to blow up. Yeah, I didn't like my chances, so I started posting 5 times a day.
5 times.
That gave me 150 chances every month to blow up. And throughout over a year, it gave me over 1,500 opportunities to blow up. I'm gonna blow up.
Bound.
I'm gonna blow up.
At the minimum, one.
I'm gonna blow up.
Yeah.
And he's like,
he's
like, blew up.
Yeah.
He on tour with T-Pain.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, T-Pain just signed him to the tour.
Oh, that's what's
and
up.
T-Pain is big. That's it. That's the epitome of music. And so it's like, I think too often in our lives, even outside of content creation, I think there's a practical aspect of doing that in our own life where we manage our time in a way that gives us the best chance to be successful. And we take those shots, right? Like every time we taking multiple shots every day and moving closer to our vision and our end goal. But if we don't have leadership, that's the thing I see when I'm talking to young men. I'm like, bro, they just don't got no leadership. Like management, I think management comes after, because there are people with tons of discipline and still no direction.
I was about to say that. I was about to say, you have some people that they're doing all the self-management, discipline.
They're doing everything.
They're waking up early. They're going to the gym. They're taking cold showers. They're journaling. Yeah. They're eating healthy. They're doing all these things, and all these things are good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have a why,
why are you doing these things?
Why are you doing this? Or what is your end goal with this? I mean, some of it could be, I just want to be healthy and feel good, right? That's good.
That's
but
cool. Yeah.
If you're working towards being an author, or you want to be a doctor, or you have that end goal, and it makes sense on why you are doing these things. But if you're just doing these self-management things for the sake of self-managing with no rhyme or reason, you're going to burn out eventually.
Because even being healthy, there still has to be a why.
Yeah.
Like being healthy isn't the end. Like you need to be healthy for something. Yeah. Like there's no point of being healthy just to be healthy. Yeah. Right?
You want to be able to move around.
100%. I want to be healthy so I can move in my old age. Yeah. I want to be healthy so I can help people be healthy. Yeah. I want to be healthy so I can
travel.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be healthy so I can live long. Like it's still got to be a why attached to it. And so I think that organizationally or as an individual, leadership got to be where you start. And then, but if you don't make it to management, you in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? You in trouble. I got a beef. It's my show. I can say whatever I want. I got a beef with the big old pastors.
Oh. Like celebrity pastors?
No. The ones that are 300 pounds. The big, physically big. Because I always say, how we got vision on everything but managing our own self. Right? Like, you could cast vision for the church. You can cast vision through God. And I'm not questioning your anointing. I'm questioning your management, though. Like, part of managing self is, that's too much food. I need to exercise.
Yes.
I need to eat right.
That's
part of it. Go ahead.
I would say, because with that, especially someone's lack of self-management and discipline, you can see that.
Yes.
All of us have areas.
Oh, for
that
sure.
You can't see.
For sure.
And so that may be that pastor's struggle.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't think just pastors in general.
No.
People. Anyone.
People. Because my beef is with leaders. Leaders.
Yeah.
Normal people, whatever. Dude, eat Twinkies.
Leaders not normal people, though?
No, they're not. They can't be.
Okay.
Because once you sign up, you're signing up. What did Spider-Man say? With more power comes more responsibility. Yes. You are signing up to say, hey, follow me.
Yep.
And so, yes, I want to follow your vision, but I also need to follow your management as well.
By example.
I need to see it because, like you said, we all got our stuff, but I need to see you dealing with yours in a way that's healthy. Mm-hmm. So I know a way to deal with mine in a way that's healthy. And so that'd be my beef. That'd be, you know what I'm saying? That's just a nugget. That ain't got nothing to do with what we was talking about. I just felt like saying it. Because of my podcast, I do what I want. Podcast. I do what I want, man. I do what I want. And so, hey, we're going to close out. We've been kicking it. Hey. I been wanting to do this for a long time. And I'm so excited that you finally said yes. And we had some time. I can get you over here. Lead the people with something. I got people that tune in and they really want to grow as leaders. And they're really trying to figure out how to do that. Give them one thing they can do today that's going to help them start becoming a better leader, the excellent leader they want to be.
Yes, sir. Which camera I'm looking at?
Where we at, Nate? All right. Yeah, Nate got you right there. All right.
I think one of the most important ways that we can become a great leader is by serving first. So many times people think that leadership is about being at the top, being a big dog, calling all the shots, telling people what to do, where to go, how to move, all those other things. But leadership comes with a spirit of humility before anything. And so serving others, following other people's leads, it's through that when you develop those skills that help you be a leader. And that's my biggest thing. If you want to be a great leader, do it with a servant's heart before anything and let that lead you wherever you go.
No, that's fire, man. I hope you had your notebook pads out because that was dope. Yes, that was dope. Hey, this has been clippable, and so I appreciate you, and I love you. Hey, man, I'm honored that you would give some of your time to me today. I don't take it lightly, man. And for my people tuning in, it's been a privilege to host you once again. Ask your mama and your auntie, and I'll talk to your grandma and your uncle. It's unanimous. I'm your favorite Crew Excellence member, man. I'm out until next week. Justin Strickland, the host who was the mostest. Peace. Crew Excellence, another great episode. I'm so honored to be leading the journey you're on. And I just want to let you know, this is what we're building here. We're building a community and an audience and a family that pursues excellence together. And if you want to be part of that family, right, this content's free. You can keep coming over here every Friday, catching a podcast, but we have so much more. First of all, if you join Crew Excellence, you get the podcast on Thursday. Yup, 24 hours early. Second thing, you get part of our private group where we talk about leadership every single day. You get Motivation Monday. You get discounts on merch. Okay. And anytime we have an event, you get first dibs on tickets. So I think that being a part of this community is amazing. There's definitely different levels to it. But hey, if you just watching and you say that ain't for me yet, cool. I appreciate you. Keep watching. Like, comment, subscribe. But if you want to go deeper and you want to be more of a part of a community that loves each other and that pushes each other to be their best self, go ahead, head over to the website, join Crew Excellence. It's a membership site on the site. You can join it and then you get entered right into the community, plugged in. Hey, it's dope over there. I'm talking about fire. You missing out. But hey, I love y'all for whatever you do and however you are a part of Crew Excellence. And I can't wait till next week. Please watch another video. If you missed the episode, tune in because they all fire. All right, man. It's the host who was the most, your favorite Crew Excellence member, and I'm out. Peace.